My name is Marlon Mayfield, and I'm just gonna introduce you to one of the cameras I'm using right now. And I've recently been working on this Pinhole camera that I've been having. All I had to do was put a shutter on it. But basically, what a Pinhole camera is it's a tiny hole in a light tight box or container. Any container would do, like a can. I shot with a oatmeal container for a while. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because the cardboard, the paper that's it made out of is not that thick, so it lets a little light in, and I end up having to put tape around it to block out the light. But basically, a Pinhole camera is a light tight container with a tiny pinhole in it, which focuses the light onto a negative, and that's basically how a camera works. If it's a digital camera, what digital cameras do is it focuses the light through the lens onto a sensor, and that's what creates the image. But with a Pinhole camera, there's no lens, and the light is focused through the tiny hole onto what I'm using right now is a negative. And basically how this camera works is I calculate the exposure. Right now I'm using an app on my phone, a Light Meter app, and I calculate the exposure, and I lift up this slide for this 4x5 holder. It holds a negative inside the holder, so I lift this slide up, and it shows the negative that's inside the holder. Then I lift the shutter for the amount of time I calculated for the exposure, and then I close it. And basically this hinge it has a magnet on it, so when I close it, the magnet closes it and makes sure no light gets to the pinhole. Then I put the slide back in to the holder, and that's basically all you do to take a picture. Then it has a hinge. Gets the back that comes off, and you open it up, take it out, and basically there's nothing inside it, just a light tight. Inside the camera where the pinhole focuses, and I just flip it around to the negative. These film holders hold two negatives, two 4x5 negatives, and I just flip it around to the unused side, and close it. and do the same thing to the other negative. Both of the this film holder actually have two negatives in it right now that are exposed, and that's why I got the black part on the outside. There's a silver part and then there's a black part, and when it's not exposed, the silver part faces out. Then you expose it and you turn around to the black part. It tells you, that reminds you that you've exposed that particular negative. And this is some of the film I have to shoot with this camera. 4x5 film. I got Kodak 100 T Max 4x5 film. Haven't opened it yet. Actually, be the first time I've shooting this camera, this 4x5 Pinhole camera with Kodak's T Max 100. Then I have some Ilford FP4 Plus 125 ISO. I actually have some negatives that's been developed, and basically what you do, you take the film out completely in the dark. You load it in the dark too, but after you expose it and everything, you take the film out and you process it through chemicals that processes the negative. And this is a 4x5 negative that's been processed. But hopefully I have some examples posted of this some images for this camera. And basically that's it for 4x5 box camera.